Ever feel stuck? You know, like your habits, your focus, your anxieties are just kind of hardwired into who you are? Well, what if I told you that for decades, we've had this fundamental misunderstanding of the human brain? Turns out, the latest science shows our brains are not fixed at all. In fact, we have this incredible ability to change them on purpose. So let's dive into how you can actually do that.
Wow, I was a feral animal. That's a pretty shocking thing to hear, right? Especially when it comes from a world-renowned neuroscientist and a professor at Stanford, Dr. Andrew Huberman. His story of how he went from being a self-described feral teen to a leading expert on the brain is maybe the ultimate proof that you can, quite literally, change your mind.
I mean, seriously, Huberman's own life is just this powerful testament to the brain's amazing capacity for change. Let's take a look at his journey. Now, what's so wild about this is just the sheer scale of this transformation. In his early teens, Huberman was basically a parentless truant, deep in the San Francisco punk and skate scene. His life was so off the rails, he actually ended up in a locked facility for kids. I mean, that is a world away from the Stanford lab he runs today. So what happened? The big turning point came after a physical fight he got into while living in a squat. In that moment, Huberman had this terrifying moment of clarity. He realized the path he was on was leading straight to prison, or even worse. And right then and there, he decided school was going to be his way out, and he committed to building an entirely new life from the ground up.
It's an incredible story, but it begs the question, how is a change that profound even biologically possible? Well, the secret lies in a concept that Huberman now teaches to the entire world. And here it is, the magic word, neuroplasticity. Now, it's true that our brains are most moldable before we're about 25. That's when they're basically getting customized for life. But here's the really good news. Adult brain change is absolutely possible. The catch? Unlike when you're a kid, it doesn't happen passively. For us adults, it requires two very specific ingredients. And this is so crucial to understand. Adult brain change isn't a single event. It's a two-part process, a two-step dance. First, you need intense focus. That's what triggers the potential for change. But the actual rewiring, the new connections actually being formed, that all happens during periods of deep rest and sleep. You absolutely have to have both.
Think of it like this. When you really focus hard on learning something new, your brain releases a chemical called acetylcholine. And what it does is, it acts like a neurological highlighter. It literally marks the specific brain circuit you just used, sending a signal that says, hey, pay attention, this part right here is important and we need to change it. And that feeling is even stronger when there's a sense of urgency or novelty, which is why learning under pressure feels so powerful.
Okay, so if it's that simple, focus and rest, why does trying to change feel so incredibly difficult? Well, it turns out that feeling of struggle isn't a sign that you're failing. It's actually a sign that the process is working.
And this quote from Huberman just perfectly illustrates the biological reality of it. That feeling of agitation and stress, that's your brain releasing norepinephrine, which is, adrenaline. It puts you in a state of high alert. This discomfort, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It is the mandatory warm-up for your brain before it can start laying down new tracks.
Yeah, we've all been sold this idea of the effortless flow state, right? Like learning should feel blissful. But the neurochemical truth is, deep learning doesn't start with bliss. It starts with stress. You literally have to push through that gate of agitation to get to the good stuff. The flow state, that comes later.
So how in the world do you push through that initial wall of agitation? You do it by learning to reward the effort itself. See, dopamine isn't just a prize you get at the finish line. You can actually learn to release it just for hitting small milestones. Simply by telling yourself, I'm on the right path, you are chemically giving yourself the fuel to keep going.
All right, so now let's get into the practical stuff, the toolkit. Huberman's work gives us these incredible, science-backed tools we can use to consciously control our internal state, manage that agitation, and really dial up our focus.
This right here, this is the master rule. So often we wait until we feel motivated to do something, but neuroscience shows it works the exact opposite way. You can't think your way into a new state. You have to act your way into it. Your behavior is the control panel for your mind.
So you need to calm down, like right now. This is the fastest way known to science. It's 2 quick, sharp inhales through your nose, followed by 1 long, extended exhale through your mouth. That double inhale inflates these tiny little sacs in your lungs, which lets you offload the maximum amount of carbon dioxide. That sends an immediate signal to your nervous system to just calm down. It is a real-time reset button. And this is amazing. Your eyes are literally 2 pieces of your brain that are sitting outside your skull.
and you can use them like a switch. When you focus narrowly on something, that's focal vision, you increase your alertness. But when you expand your gaze, what Huberman calls panoramic vision, you trigger relaxation. You can consciously toggle your brain's stress system on and off just by changing how you look at the world.
And here is a super simple way to put this into practice. The next time you're in a deep work session, instead of taking a break and looking at your phone, try this. Look away from your screen, maybe out a window, and deliberately expand your vision. Let your gaze soften and just take in the whole scene. This little micro recovery resets your brain and lets you get back to work with renewed focus.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, so let's crystallize all of this into one final actionable roadmap. Here are the 10 essential rules for changing your brain, all based on Dr. Huberman's work.
All right, rule number 1, intense focus is the non-negotiable gateway. 2, deep rest is when the brain actually does the rewiring. 3, and this is a big one, embrace agitation. That's the feeling of learning. 4, reward the effort itself, not just the final win. 5, remember that your internal reward system is the most sustainable fuel you have. 6, act first, your mood and your thoughts will follow your behavior. 7, use that physiological sigh to calm down instantly. 8, use your vision to control your focus and stress. 9, take those micro-recoveries with panoramic vision to reset. And finally, 10, just remember that you have direct control over all of these powerful systems.
So when you strip it all away, it really comes down to this one powerful idea. Your actions are the levers that change your brain. You don't have to wait until you feel different to be different. So the only question left is, what is the first action you're going to take today to start changing yours?